So I think everyone's just sort of sitting tight and waiting for Avatar to come out and just save Christmas. Did you find us through a thumbnail today? If so, that's because I was able to whip it up with the magic of Canva. You know how easy Canva is? Even I can use Canva. I can use different fonts and move things around, but you don't have to have a YouTube channel to enjoy Canva. You could be doing a school project with your kid, or you've got a work project, or you've got invitations to send out, or you just enjoy playing with fonts.
Memes.
Some have serifs, right? Memes. Some have serifs and some don't. Anyway, Canva, we have a link to Canva below. Check them out. They have a multitude of options for you to get creative with graphic design. Hello. So news, we are in award season, whether we want to be or not. And that means our own awards as well. We at the LA Film Critics Association sat around in our own respective Zoom boxes on Sunday and voted on the best films of the year. We gave 4 of them to Tar, including a tie for Best Picture, including Director for Todd Field, Best Lead Performance for Cate Blanchett, and also Screenplay.
Yeah, I did not necessarily see that coming. I was somehow imagining a little bit more of a sharing of the wealth this year, although a lot of other films did get in there. The tie for Best Picture with Tar was Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was also honored for the supporting performance from Ke Huy Quan. We got Best Score to RRR, I was very excited about, and SS Rajamouli was our runner-up for Best Director behind Todd Field. The other lead performance was Bill Nighy for Living, which hasn't come out yet, and the other supporting performance was Dolly De Leon for Triangle of Sadness. International or Best Film is it not in English or international?
Not in the English language.
Not in the English language was EO.
Love EO.
Yes, very much. We'll be talking about that one at some point.
Documentary was All the Beauty and the Bloodshed.
Yes, as well it should be.
Which a lot of folks seem to like. Yeah, SS Rajamouli got close on a couple of things, or got close in a couple of things. Cinematography also went to EO. I cannot wait to talk about that movie with you. I loved it so much.
Yeah, me too.
Stunning. I was gasping and laughing and cheering
editing
and crying.
What's
that? Editing was After Sun.
After Sun, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, so I was happy about that. Yeah, it was a long day, as they tend to be.
As always is.
Yes. So our LAFCA dinner is next month. So we will actually give out awards to people in person. It'll be very exciting. And then also around are the Golden Globes. Not nearly as important as our LA Film Critics picks, but the Golden Globes are trying to be a thing. They're trying to be like reputable and above board and whatnot. They gave the most nominations to Banshees of Inisherin.
In the olden times, you would always get like the publicist would call the talent and they would sort of tell the press, oh, I, was so thrilled and so honored and blah, 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 blah. And people are kind of keeping it mum this year. I think people aren't necessarily wanting to hitch themselves to the troubled HFPA at the moment. So you're not seeing the usual kind of resurgence. The one of the big snubs of the day was the fact that while Top Gun Maverick did get a Best Picture nomination, they didn't nominate Tom Cruise, who famously returned his Cecil B. DeMille Award during the Times of Trouble. So I think that was a bit of a dig there. Also, a lot of talk about how they did not nominate Danielle Deadwyler for Till for Best Actress. She was a runner-up at LAFCA along with Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere.
But what's interesting is that, we at LAFCA did not really pick any of the kind of traditional, old-fashioned kind of Oscar bait picks.
Sure.
Like The Fabelmans or Empire of Light or Bardo or Babylon. Like these movies that on paper look like they are surefire awards getters.
Yeah.
Right, prestige year-end films by important heralded auteurs, and it didn't happen with us. And I think we're pretty cool because we think outside the box quite frequently and do some kind of inspired picks quite frequently. But the Golden Globes are reliable in that regard and are still picking things like Babylon, The Fabelmans, and so.
Yeah, they invented playing it safe.
Yeah, Brad Pitt gets a nomination for Babylon. Anyway, we'll talk about that next week.
Yes.
So that happened. Box office for the 5th straight week, Wakanda Forever is number 1. it was sort of a really, really low week of the box office. Everyone's kind of waiting for Avatar: The Way of Water to come out. But in the indie specialty box office, The Whale did really well. It made $360,000 on 6 screens. That's a $60,000 per screen average to you and me.
Yeah.
I just did math.
Woo.
So people came out for that. Like that's like the highest per screen average of any independent film, art house film this year.
If you haven't seen our review of The Whale, we'll have the link at the end of this news, I imagine.
Yes, for sure. So I think everyone's just sort of sitting tight and waiting for Avatar to come out and just save Christmas.
Basically, yeah. I mean, and it's, I don't know. It's just we have entered this period now where there's one movie at a time that is like the big thing, and the big thing is always a big thing. It's something splashy and effects heavy and whatnot. And so yeah, Wakanda Forever had its moment, and now it's going to be the Avatar moment for the time being until whatever the next, giant effectsy thing that opens in February is.
Right. I mean, what we have for the rest of the year is spoiler alerts out there: Babylon, Bardo, Empire of Light. Like none of these are going to set the world on fire here.
Yeah, Bardo's coming to Netflix soon, and I mean, and I'm not saying these movies don't matter or aren't important. I'm saying that the track record of this year is that audiences aren't going to see them. The Whale somehow being an exception to that. And we'll see how that goes once it expands. But yeah, generally speaking, all the discussion of late has been about how these sort of like mid-size adult dramas, your Tars and your Banshees of Inisherins and whatnot, are kind of dying on the vine out there.
But if you go see Avatar in IMAX, you will get some extra new footage of Oppenheimer.
Okay.
The new Christopher Nolan movie. So somebody else who is very into playing around with technology and pushing the boundaries of like 3D and all that. So in IMAX for sure. I mean, we know Chris Nolan loves IMAX. So that's something for you to look forward to. Also, the trailer is out for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Cool.
Not directed by Julie Taymor.
I was just thinking that too.
Want to get out of here?
Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me.
That is something that is coming out next year that looks pretty cool. That's like, it's sort of like almost like an end game, because it's like many, many, many more spiders, men and women. And the cast is like Issa Rae and Oscar Isaac and Jason Schwartzman. It's a giant, ridiculous cast. Besides everybody that we had in the first Spider-Verse movie, it's a whole lot more. So it's sort of like an Everything Everywhere, but for Spider-Man, even more so. And then this plot is about how I guess like all the spiders men have to figure out what the best way is to deal with these bad guys. And so it's kind of got like a Captain America Civil War thing to it.
Oh, because they don't all agree on the best.
They don't.
Okay.
They don't all agree.
Yeah, look, I am a big fan of the first of these animated films. So I think this is a franchise where they have launched it in a way that, there are a lot of different sort of rabbit holes to go down and different approaches to take. So, I look forward to it.
Yes, it looks fun. We'll talk about that next year for sure. Did you see Elon Musk getting booed at the Dave Chappelle show?
Yes, I did. Although the whole notion of like why any comedian would bring out one of the world's richest men onto stage, like how that's going to play out, I don't get. And then why said comedian would then mock his own fans as being poor also didn't seem to read really well. But what do I know?
Right. He said, everybody who's booing is that all you people up in the rafters up there.
Yeah,
like,
who all paid to get
ticket.
into this show. Yeah.
They came to see you because they enjoy your comedy.
As Joe Piscopo's Frank Sinatra would say, contempt for the audience. It's what destroyed Dennis Day's career.
I mean, yes, he has not insult the what is it?
Triumph the insult comic dog.
Comic dog. And it's not like it's Don Rickles. You know, this is not a roast. You're not roasting your own patrons here.
Anyway.
So that's dumb. Yeah, he got booed, and booed in San Francisco, where Twitter is based.
Yes. Well, I'm sure
Probably a lot of folks lost their jobs. Right?
I was just going to say, I'm sure there were a lot of layoffs in that room. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I don't really care what either of those people do, but I'm always here for public humiliation of billionaires.
Here's a sad bit of news for you. Angelo Badalamenti died.
Yes.
Legendary composer, age 85, worked with David Lynch a lot and did some of his best known scores, including Twin Peaks, of course.
Yes.
But I don't know if you've seen any of the videos that are out there of him just playing the piano. This is a video that's going around of him describing how he came up with the Twin Peaks score. And he just seemed like this lovely, older Italian gentleman from Brooklyn, but then made this really fucking disturbing music for David Lynch movies.
Yeah, that is absolutely nightmare music. But had a lot of arrows in his quiver. If you listen to his score for the 1989 rom-com Cousins, it's lovely and lyrical and romantic. And so he did The Straight Story, which is a very different kind of David Lynch movie. He did the score for Secretary, did a lot of different stuff. So yeah, very multifaceted composer and very talented, and it's RIP.